I had to ask myself, how would Marlon play this? And that was to not really give a damn, to really hold on, and
Yeah.
to just be cool and flow and look for the beautiful accidents. And that's kind of like how I work.
But it never occurred to me how much you actually look like Marlon Brando. I went back and I read some of your early reviews to see if it was something that people talked about a lot. And I did see when you did Dead Calm, people did talk about how you looked a bit like a young Brando, but I never realized it was this uncanny. And seeing you in the movie and seeing you in the trailers and seeing you in all the images, I was really struck by how much you look like Marlon Brando. Is that something that people have been telling you your whole career?
It has been, I guess, since Dead Calm, maybe even a little bit before, but it was always a, lovely specter that lingered. And I was certainly flattered by the association. Fascinated by his career, by all means. It was certainly left an impression as it does on every actor. Yeah, I had always thought perhaps playing him one day would be interesting, and it was curious that I had seemed to identify this Tahitian period years before I had found myself involved with a project. That this was the time frame that really fascinated me when I saw some footage of him on a French television show doing the Tahitian dance that we recreated in the film, and it matched his wardrobe as well, in black and white TV with Tarita and in some studio. I think maybe it was in Paris, and I just thought, wow, he looks so damn happy and healthy, and what's that period? And it always stayed with me. And then here we are, getting to actually recreate it was kind of a dream.
It's more beautiful than words can describe, and cinematography can capture.
Well, I want to also talk to you about just, I mean, inhabiting the role, regardless of the makeup and the clothing. So I do feel like a lot of people, a lot of people do Brando, where they like to do a Brando impersonation, but it never
Right,
actually feels like they're actually doing Brando. They're doing The Godfather, they're doing Kurtz, or they're
right.
doing Stanley Kowalski. How do you maintain that balance? Because I felt that you really did capture the man who, it seemed in some ways, was almost unknowable, right? Like he was an enigma.
Thank you. It's a very good question. We started with these recreations you talked about with The Godfather. We wanted to start with the hardest, kind of most known piece of
Yeah.
footage. And that was out of necessity because we actually began during COVID when we were in lockdown. And these were the scenes that were not in Tahiti, which we couldn't fly to at the time. So
Yeah.
we looked at what we could do, which was the recreations of Godfather and Tango and the Cavett interview and the Carson interview. And then we just added a couple more pieces in. That was the most, I guess, we started with the knowns, and then to fill in the unknown is where it really got fun.
Yeah.
Was to approach the character first in a very counterintuitive way. I had to ask myself, how would Marlon play this? And that was to not really give a damn, to really hold on, and
Yeah.
to just be cool and flow and look for the beautiful accidents. And that's kind of like how I work. I I kept myself as distracted as possible up to the moment I stepped into frame or opened my mouth. I was producing the film as well for years, and I was very busy being a crew member and, hauling things out of the way and making sure extras, wardrobe was in period and things. Anyway, you grab an oar and row to the shore, right? So that kept me wonderfully off base and off balance. So when I was able to just step into him, I was completely loose and detached, the way he likes to work, the way I like to work, and was able to improvise as him and respond in real time and capture that naturalism that, you try to put in every movie, but playing him and being as loose in the moment was really it was somehow, I guess you would think it would be harder.
Hmm.
Everything about it was counterintuitive. I can't
Sure.
stand on some principle and pretend that this was some insurmountable task and how hard and painstaking it was. I know that's a default for actors, and maybe it is hard. I just can, I just can say it borderline the curiously metaphysical. I invited him in, and, I was like, it's your story, man. What do you want? Let's go.
And scene. That's great. That was really great.
Did you ever
Sleep.
meet him when you were working actor when you were coming up?
I didn't, and I imagine I could have because he was about one
Yeah,
degree away, easily
yeah.
enough. And I lamented that for a while until I played the role.
Hmm.
And then I was really glad I didn't
Sure. Yeah,
because it would have been another example of otherness.
yeah,
Like it would have been impossible to, in my mind, be him because I just met him. He exists outside of myself,
yeah.
and that would have been really hard. So in a way, I was glad.
I have to ask you is, I mean, one of the great things about, running a site like JoBlo is that you can often give people that are of a younger generation, recommendations of movies to check out. Are there any Brando movies that you'd say were maybe off the beaten path that you think that a young person should check out, that should watch if they want to really learn about who Brando was and what kind of an actor he was?
I really liked The Young Lions and working, with Montgomery Clift and him playing a German officer and seeing him play an accent and someone you were not really used to him in our mind's eye
The
playing.
blonde hair. Yeah, with the
Yeah, with
blonde hair.
blonde hair at that. That was a
Yeah,
great performance. Julius Caesar, because what he does with Shakespeare, blew minds of members of the
yeah.
Royal Shakespeare Company who, you know, I was told by contemporaries were, went in with great skepticism. And then when they saw the film, they were like, damn, this guy, this guy, he crushes that too. He was just that good.
Just because we're a fan site. I know a lot of people probably still ask you about some of the classics that you were in, like Titanic particularly. And I
Mhm.
really have a soft spot for The Phantom, but the movie I gotta ask you about is Demon Knight. Demon Knight is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. And I just wanted to ask you, people must still come up to you quoting that movie, right? Because it feels like you gave one of the all-time iconic horror movie performances in that
I'm,
film.
s-
And I wish
I'm
I'd
so,
seen more of you in that.
I'm so glad you asked me about that film. Um, I it and I'm glad you mentioned the Phantom.
I
Having
love
done
it.
Me too. Having done quite a few Comic Cons of late, which I just really love because these legacy pictures are at their anniversary stage right now. It's the 30th anniversary of Demon Knight, and there's a screening
Wow,
on the
30 years?
28th. Anyway, the Phantom is my favorite character.
Really?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
People ask what's your favorite movie or favorite character, and the Phantom. I really love the fact that he's a white hat hero, that he's a happy, well-adjusted hero. He's not complex, and I think it's because he doesn't kill
Hmm.
and there's no baggage around disarming. He's that good. And I call him, he's like happy Batman is how I describe him to people. He's got, it's like no issues. Yeah, parents die. I get it. Like, duh. But in this case, it's this father to son legacy as part of his mythology. It's not really a secret weapon. Mystery is his, superpower, an assumption, I guess, that he's immortal. He's just a dude. He's just a do-gooder, but he doesn't kill. He's I think that has a huge part of it. It's not a blurry lined action hero. Got a man cave, got animal friends and got a girlfriend and like, follow like pull from the playbook. No sociopathic hangups here. Anyway, love the Phantom, but Demon Knight
Yeah.
is was and stands as probably the most fun. I was given a lot of rein to turn
Mhm.
what wasn't maybe that funny on the page
Yeah.
into a much more comedic, thus surprising character because we could turn from one to the other. And Robin Williams's Genie from Aladdin came out just before I did it,
Oh,
and I
wow.
and I was like, that's it. That's my angle. I'm going to do the genie from hell because the ability to be because it was about pacing and about
Yeah.
character and using, you know, he had to seduce a bunch of people and he could pull anything and conjure anything from the ether to support his cause, which was much different from the genie, but it was the concept liberated me and made me mind my hidden kind of slapstick and stand up and make that character unnervingly disarming until he came in for the kill.
Ho dunk, po dunk, well then there, motherfucker! And scene. That's great. That was really great.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.